and welcome back to another video of Kitchen Explorations. Today we're going to be making kefir. Kefir is a fermented milk, very good for you, full of probiotic, awesome for the digestive system, and even detoxifies. But I don't want to bore you with a lot of information about that. I'm just going to write something on the description below, so don't miss that. Please don't forget to like us and to subscribe to our channel for more recipes. So now let's go to my kitchen and let's make some kefir. So to make the kefir, all you need is milk kefir grain. This you can get online, or if a friend has extra, they can share with you. But make sure that it's milk kefir grain, because there is also water kefir. But for this application, we're going to use the milk kefir grain. And they call it grain because that's what they look like. They look like cauliflower. The ratio more or less is about 1 tablespoon and 1 cup of milk. So I'm making half a gallon. So this is a little bit more of what I need, because what happens is they spread, they grow, they propagate. So about a month ago, you see this amount? A month ago I had a tablespoon. In a month, and I already gave 2 tablespoons away. So they grow pretty fast. And then to this, you're going to add milk, whole milk. I use whole milk. You can use goat milk, sheep milk, or you can even use like almond milk, coconut milk. However, when you use those milk, you want to once in a while use regular milk, because this grain, they feed out of lactose. I like to use mine with whole milk. So make sure that they well fed, because that way they grow and they do a good job. So this is all you need to do. You need to put the grain and the milk. Then I'll clean the edge of the jar. Then kefir is fermented milk. So as the milk is fermenting, there is gases being created by the fermentation process. So you want that air and those gases that are being generated by the fermentation process to escape. So I like to cover it with a coffee filter. Then I use the same lid of the jar, and with that I hold it shut. And with the amount of grains you saw over there, this will take about 24 hours for this milk to become kefir. You see over here I have a jar of already made kefir. This probably I leave outside maybe 2 more hours and then put it in the fridge overnight to drink it tomorrow. And by tomorrow night, this will be ready to go to the same process. But after that, what I'm gonna do with this milk, I'm going to make some cheese. So tomorrow we'll make some cheese, and you see the process of making the cheese. I will see you back tomorrow and I show you the cheese process. Okay guys, a little bit more than 24 hours have gone by. After that time goes, the kefir starts separating. As you see over here, you see the separation. Normally, I don't let it go this far, but because I'm going to make cheese with it, I let it go a little bit longer, and you see the whey separating from the milk sec part of it that is already fermented kefir. So this is ready to be strained and drink. So the same way you strain it for drinking, we're going to follow the same step, but this time, instead of bottling it again for second fermentation and to put it in the fridge, we're going to strain it with, you can either use a coffee filter or you can use like a cotton cloth, so you can separate the whey from the fatty part, that is the kefir, the white part. So let me get the stuff that I need for this and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have over here the utensil I'm going to need. I have my kefir, I have a spatula, and what I'm gonna do, I'm going to stir it a little bit so it's not that hard to go through the strainer. So if you see how separated it is, the kefir from the curd, let's call it like that, and the grains. So let me stir it a little bit. And as I stir it, it's creamier, it's softer to go through the strainer, and that's going to be perfect. And since already was separated, it's going to be easier for the white part to separate again. So here I have my strainer with a bowl. And I'm going to pour the new kefir so I can separate the grains from the cream. And with a rubber spatula, I'm going to take the liquid out. The grains are not too happy, to call it like that, to be against metal. So that's why I use a plastic strainer with a rubber spatula. You see, over here, these are the grains. So I kind of scoop the grains, and at the same time it's helping the cream to go and go through the strainer. And you have the nice kefir inside, ready to drink or for a second fermentation, the way you prefer it. At this point you can drink it already, but it's better when you have it in the fridge, after you have it in the fridge, nice and cold. So look at this. About 3 weeks ago, no more than 4, I started with a tablespoon and a half. And they grew. The grains grow, and look at this. I have maybe over here about 10 tablespoons. So these I'm going to put back in my jar for our next fermentation. Before you saw me adding the milk, so I'm going to do the same step again. And that step goes like every 24 hours. It takes about 24 hours for the kefir to ferment. Oh, depending the amount of grain you put in. Normally the ratio is about 1 tablespoon of grain for a cup of milk. So if you want to go slower, you can add a little bit more milk, like maybe a cup and a half. Some people even put 2 cups of milk, and it takes longer to ferment. Normally my fermentation goes for about 24 hours. So let me get that ready, and we'll be right back to show you how I start my process of making the cheese. Okay, so I have the same bowl where I was straining my kefir, and now what I'm going to put, I'm going to use a colander. Place it like that, so when I put it here, the bowl will collect the whey. And then I put this cloth that is like cotton, very fine. And here I'm going to pour my kefir. This, I like to leave it overnight. So it has the opportunity for all the whey to go out. If you want, you can leave it a couple of hours and then put a plate on top with some weight, and that will help to help it release the kefir. So then I'm going to cover it and I'm going to leave it overnight. So tomorrow I will show you how it looks. Okay, so it's been overnight, and last night after I put it in the cotton cloth, I put like 2 hours later, I put the plate and a weight to help to push the whey out. So now take the weight, the bottle, the plate, and before I put the plate and the weight, I put a coffee filter. That way it doesn't stick on the cloth all over the place. So I take this out of the way, grab my filter out, you see, so it's not a big mess. And look at that, really nice, delicious, very healthy. So let me move this out of the way and put this cutting board. And what I'm gonna do, I'm going to place it on top of this to make it easier to scrape. Now I start taking the cheese out. And this you can do whatever you like. You can put some salt inside and make it a little bit saltier, like cream cheese. Or you can do hundreds of recipes with it. You can make dips. There's a recipe for a cheesecake. You can make it like a sweet scrub to put on the crackers and stuff like that. So it's all kind of things you can do with it. The sky is the limit. Your imagination is the limit. So we scrape these, and let me finish with this, and I'll show you how we'll end up. So this is how much cheese I got out of the kefir that we poured there last night. So this, the way we like it, to put on toast and stuff like that, we put a little bit of salt, mix it, and that's it. So what I do, I take Himalayan salt with the salt dispenser, and I go maybe like 3-4 times, and that's all I use. I mix that salt into the cheese. And of course, the amount of salt you put is up to you, whatever you like, your preference. We found out that that much salt is good enough for our taste. I promise you that your family, your friends, and you will love it. Now after this is done, you put it in the fridge like any other spread. And that's perfect for everything you want. Good stuff. In the bowl that we had last night collecting the whey, this is only half of the whey. The other half I took out because I didn't want the whey to hit the bottom of the colander and don't do the work. So I took half out, and this is the other half. With this, you can do whatever you want. You can do all kind of recipes. My wife likes to make a cake that in a future video we're going to upload. We can make kefir sodas using the whey. So you know what, let's make some kefir soda. So when I'm ready with the stuff I need, we'll be right back. Okay, to make the kefir soda, the first thing we're going to need is whey. This is the whey that I removed from the kefir. I have over here blueberries. I'm going to make my kefir soda today out of blueberries. I have here like maybe 3 cups of blueberries. I have a cup of sugar, and I have a 1/3 of a cup of water. Then you're going to need either mason jars or these. I recycle these gross beer bottles. They're perfect for these, for the kombucha. It's perfect for that, but we're going to use it for the soda today. Let's take the juice out of the fruit. What I do, I put them in the blender. These blueberries I had from the frozen blueberries, and I put them earlier to thaw, and I have some of the juice. It's perfect for this because it helps already to break down the fibers of the fruit, and I start releasing the juices. Then to the blueberries I add the water, and this is going to help me to get the juice out. So let's run it. This running at full speed. Then you get a strainer, and you put it in there to remove all the pulp. I don't want to use the pulp for the soda. I want it nice and clean. So you're going to use a spatula or a wooden spoon, and you start straining the juice out of the pulp. So let me take the juice out of this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I took the juice out of the pulp. I end up using a rubber spatula because it helped me better with this process than the wooden spoon. And this is the pulp. That I don't use it for anything else, so I put it in the compost. But you can make fruit leather similar to the fruit roll-ups, but we're not going to go there because I really don't use that. So now let me rinse this. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So to this I'm going to add the sugar, and I'm going to make some kind of a syrup. So I'm going to start stirring this until I dilute the sugar. So let me mix it, and I don't want you to be sitting there watching me just stirring this. So when this is dissolved, we come right back. Alright, so I dissolved the sugar in the juice, and per bottle I'm going to add like 2 ounces of the juice. And I add 2 ounces of the whey, and the rest I add the still water. And I fill it up pretty much to the neck of the bottle, no more than that. That way it has space for the fermentation, let's call it like that. You get fizz. Later on I'm going to open a bottle so you see how fizzy it can get. So you get foam out of when you pour it. So that's pretty much it right there. What I like to do, I like to keep the edge clean. I clean it for any of the sugars and any of the fruit, but I like to put a little bit of water so the rubber makes a good seal. Then I close it. You shake it a little bit so everything mixed together. And this you're going to let stand for about 2, 3, 4 days. Depending the temperature in your house, that's how long it's gonna take. Normally in 2 days, sometimes you get enough feast and it's ready in about 2 days. But some of them have taken about 5 days for me. So it varies depending on the fruit, depending on the sugar content. All that have to do with how long it takes to get ready. So let me do the other bottles and I show you how they look. So here you have it. We have 6 bottles, 3 jars of the mason jar. These about 16 ounces each, and the 3 beer bottles, and that's ready to stay and ferment. So this is a bottle that I had maybe like a week. I left it outside, and let's open it to see what happens. I like to put this just in case we have a lot of fish. There you go, look. The best way to open it is like this, that way you don't make a mess. Otherwise you will lose all the soda. That looks nice, right? So let's pour in the glass. Now look at that. That looks really nice. Other things I make with my kefir, I make smoothies. This one is out of blueberries. And what I do, I put the kefir, I put some blueberries, and I add some agave. I like to use the agave to sweeten my smoothies. So that's another thing you can do, or you can either drink it straight up without any sweetener, without any flavor, but it's up to you. It's whatever you like. In one of the coming videos, we're going to make a cake using the whey of the kefir. So stay tuned, subscribe so you can see our next video. So I hope you like this video. Again, please subscribe and like us, and see you next time. Buen provecho.